Ramadan Mubarak, Ramadan Kareem.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Wonderful viewers, you are welcome to a program in our series, Ramadan Mubarak. This is where we get to listen to the views and then the opinions regarding Ramadan, the blessings of Ramadan, the do's and don'ts of Ramadan. You also get to know the impact of Ramadan on our spiritual, physical, and moral well being. Without wasting my time, I'll go on to introduce the guests that we have in the studio today. With us in the studio to delve deep into matters are Movi Omar Farouk Sahib. Movi Sahib, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And
Walaikum
then we
assalam wa rahmatullahi
also
wa
have
barakatuh.
Movi Ali Mahmoud Sahib. Movi Sahib, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum assalam.
Dear viewers, these are respected personalities in the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat here in Ghana, and these people are personal secretaries to the Amir missionary in charge of Ghana. And so we have the honor to have them here with us on the program. In today's edition also, as we continue with our discussion, we also introduce one guest who will join us on the phone line in the person of Dr. Saifur Rahman Sahib. So, before we kickstart the program, we go to listen to Tilawat Quran Kareem. Please join us.
ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Nice recitation from the Holy Quran. Well, we move on to the saying of our Holy Prophet Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Please join us.
صل على نبينا.
عن سهل بن سعد رضي الله عنه قال قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم إن في الجنة بابا يقال له الريان يدخل منه الصائمون يوم القيامة لا يدخل معهم أحد غيرهم يقال أين الصائمون فيدخلون منه فإذا دخل آخرهم أغلق فلم يدخل منه أحد.
Hazrat Sahal ibn Sa'd, may Allah be pleased with him, reports that the Holy Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, "There is a gate in paradise known as At-Rayyan, through which only fasting persons will enter on the day of judgment, and no one else. It will be said, 'Where are the fasting persons?' They will come forward. No one will enter except them. After they shall have entered, the gates will be closed, and no one else will enter thereafter."
MashaAllah. Well, you are welcome back, wonderful viewers. You can join us today by sending in your messages to the numbers that will be displaying on your screens. We move on straight to the questions for which we have these honorable guests here today. I will start with you, Movi Omar Farouk Saab. Movi Saab, what is fasting? Is it just the abstinence from food and then water, or there is something bigger that is attached to fasting?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وبارك وسلم إنك حميد مجيد. Thank you very much for the question. Fasting is in fact, as you have said yourself, abstinence from taking food or water, and this has been there since time immemorial. It's not something that has been started in Islam, but since antiquity. And it has been used even in medicine for, if say they are going to operate somebody in some cases, they let the person fast. And in religion, all known religions which are of name that we know also have the system of fasting within them. And therefore, if the Quran has said that, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyamu kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun, that is to say that Allah says that, all ye who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may guard against evil or you may be righteous. This tells us that Islam is not the religion that started fasting, but fasting had been prescribed even in religion to other people before Islam. But fasting as a specific institution that rules and regulations have been laid for. In fact, started with this verse that I just read in the whole Quran, which instructs the believers to abstain from eating food or taking water or sexual intercourse and any other thing that will break the fast. That is using bad words, foul words, fighting, lying, anything morally unacceptable that a person is stopped from doing by God. All that is inclusive within the regulation of fasting. So the physical aspect of it is there, but the spiritual aspect is also there. And the Holy Prophet of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam makes us understand that a person who does not stop saying foul words and does not stop acting upon such, that person first has got no significance before God. And therefore he's not eating food, nor not taking water, is just useless to God, until he begins to learn with his fasting how to stop all those unbecoming things. So fasting is a universal thing. But in Islam, rules have been laid for it. Yeah, that is to say the fast of Ramadan.
That's right.
Yeah.
Jazakumullah Mubarak for that wonderful answer. Mawvi Alim Saab, let me come to you. When Mawvi Saab was speaking, he made mention that fasting is universal. He mentioned the fact that fasting exists in some other religions as well. Can you elaborate on that for me, please?
Yes, as you have rightly said, the Mawvi Saab has mentioned, Islamic point of view is that all religions, they all emanate from Allah the Almighty.
Okay.
We all have a universal God, a God who has started these religions by sending his prophets.
That's right.
So the fasting, why fasting is there? Because it is also one of the ways of meditating and winning the pleasure of your Creator. So even though you may not find fasting in those religions as it is in Islam, but it is there. And even till today, you can find some traces in those religions. Just for the sake of example, I will mention like Hinduism, for instance. They have a very common expression of religious commitment that is fasting. And they call it upavasa. Upavasa is is a form in which you fast.
Okay.
And there are range of doing it. Like there are some ways where they abstain from food and drink and other items, but there are other fasting where they only abstain from cooked food.
Okay. Okay.
So they do not abstain completely, but there is an element of fasting among them that they they abstain from these things.
Okay.
And then we have in Judaism also, fasting is also found in Judaism, and there are several annual, fasts that you can find in them. For instance, the Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur, I don't know if my pronunciation is right, but it is abstention from eating, drinking, washing. Even they have added ointment and cream and other things that you should stay away from them. Even wearing of leather shoes, and they have also mentioned sexual relations are also prohibited when you are in Kippur.
Okay.
That is their form of fasting.
Yeah.
But they also prescribe the two meals.
Sure.
Like the meals that as we do eat before we start fasting, and we break the fast with food. In the same way, they also mention it.
Okay.
And there are some other ways in which they say that the worshippers or those who are observing these fasts, in Judaism I'm talking about,
sure.
they should completely stay away from the comforts of life and spend most of their time in synagogue.
Yeah.
You see that element of winning the pleasure of Allah and staying away from the worldly pursuits. Then you come to Buddhism. As for Buddhism, you know that meditation is one of the very prominent thing which is which is known about Buddha. And systematically, Buddha himself cut down his consumption of food to a very extreme level. And he showed like a kind of, a commitment to his creator by starving himself or passing through this system of fasting.
What about the Christians that we live in? In our parts of the world, the Christians are dominated in this part. Do they have such practice in India?
Christians also have that element of fasting.
Okay.
In the early times of Christianity, the rules and regulations of fasting were very strict.
Okay. Okay.
But it's not now that much strict.
Okay. Okay.
So now the prominent fasting is the Lent days.
Okay.
It's before Easter, or you can say it's a preparation for Easter.
Okay.
And likewise, they are doing their fasting before Christmas.
That's right.
So these two events,
That's right,
that they also observe fasting.
Jazakumullah.
So we can comfortably say that
Okay.
fasting is not a novel practice in Islam.
Okay.
This is the reason Allah the Almighty Himself told Holy Prophet ﷺ in the Holy Quran that, O ye who believe, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you.
That's right. That's right. MashaAllah.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. Jazakumullah Jaza for that wonderful answer. Dear viewers, we move on to the next on the item, that is an excerpt of our beloved Khalifa, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmed Ayyadahullah Ta'ala bin Nasir Aziz. Please join us as we listen to that excerpt.
वो ये है कि एक मोमिन हर एक मुसलमान जो है, हकीकी मुसलमान जो है, उस पर रोज़ा फ़र्ज़ किया गया है। सुबह से शाम तक भूखा रहना नहीं है ये रोज़ा। हज़रत मसीह अलैहिस्सलाम ने फरमाया कि खुदा ताला का मंशा इससे ये है कि एक रोज़ा को कम करो और दूसरी को बढ़ाओ। हमेशा रोज़ेदार को ये मदद रहना चाहिए कि इससे इतना ही मतलब नहीं है कि भूखा रहे, बल्कि उसे चाहिए कि खुदा ताला के ज़िक्र में मसरूफ़ रहे ताकि तबत्तुल और इनकिताब हासिल हो, यानी खुदा ताला से ताल्लुक़ में, उसकी इबादत में, ज़िक्र इलाही में इंसान बढ़े और दुनिया की तरफ कम तवज्जो हो। दुनिया के काम تو ساتھ رہتے ہی ہیں، وہ نہیں رکتے، لیکن ان کو کرتے ہوئے بھی خدا تعالیٰ کی یاد رہے، اس کے احکامات پر نظر رہے، اس کا ذکر ہوتا رہے۔ آپ فرماتے ہیں کہ بس روزے سے یہی مطلب ہے کہ انسان ایک روٹی کو چھوڑ کر جو جسم کی روٹی ہے، جو جسم کی پرورش کرتی ہے، دوسری روٹی کو حاصل کرے جو روح کی تسلی اور سیری کا باعث ہے۔ جو لوگ محض خدا کے لیے روزے رکھتے ہیں اور نرے رسم کے طور پر نہیں رکھتے، انہیں چاہیے کہ اللہ تعالیٰ کی حمد اور تسبیح اور تحلیل میں لگے رہیں۔ حضرت صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے بھی فرمایا کہ اللہ تعالیٰ کو تمہارے بھوکا رہنے سے کوئی غرض نہیں ہے۔ پھر اللہ تعالیٰ یہ بیان فرما کر کہ روزہ تم پر فرض کیا گیا ہے، اس آیت میں فرماتا ہے، جو پہلی آیت ہے، کہ اس لیے فرض ہے کہ تاکہ تم تقوی اختیار کرو۔ اور تقوی کیا ہے؟ تقوی یہ ہے کہ تم روحانی اور اخلاقی کمزوریوں سے بچو، جیسا کہ پہلے میں نے بیان کیا کہ حضرت صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے فرمایا کہ اللہ تعالیٰ کو تمہارے بھوکا رہنے سے کوئی غرض نہیں، جب تک روزہ تمہارے اندر تقوی کو وہ معیار پیدا نہ کرے جس سے تم تمام روحانی کمزوریوں اور اخلاقی کمزوریوں سے اپنے آپ کو بچاؤ۔ روزہ رکھنا بے فائدہ ہے۔ اللہ تعالیٰ فرماتا ہے کہ اس مہینے میں ہم نے قرآن نازل فرمایا جو تمہارے لیے ہدایت کا موجب ہے اور کھلے اور روشن دلائل اور نشان اپنے اندر رکھتا ہے۔ بس قرآن کو رمضان کے مہینے سے بھی ایک خاص نسبت ہے۔ اسی مہینے میں روزوں کے ساتھ اس کے پڑھنے، اس پر غور کرنے، اس کے احکامات کو تلاش کر کے ان پر عمل کرنے کی کوشش کرنی چاہیے، تاکہ اللہ تعالیٰ کے احکامات پر عمل کر کے ہم رمضان کے روزوں سے حقیقی فیض اٹھا سکیں۔ ہر ایک قرآن کریم کے گہرے مطالب پر کی گہرائی تک خود نہیں پہنچ سکتا، اس لیے قرآن کریم کی تلاوت اور ترجمے کے ساتھ جو کہ وہ خود پڑھ سکتا ہے، جماعت کی طرف سے جہاں جہاں درس کا انتظام ہے مساجد میں، اس سے فائدہ اٹھانا چاہیے۔ اسی طرح MTA پر باقاعدہ درس کا انتظام ہے، اس سے استفادہ ضروری ہے۔ خصوصی رابطے کے درس چل رہے ہیں اس پہ۔ حضرت صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کا بھی یہی ارشاد ہے کہ اس مہینے میں قرآن کریم کی تلاوت زیادہ کیا کرو۔ قرآن کریم کی تلاوت کی طرف اس کو پڑھنے کی، قرآن کریم پڑھنے کی طرف توجہ ایک احمدی کو تو عام دنوں میں بھی بہت زیادہ ہونی چاہیے، لیکن رمضان میں تو خاص طور پر اس کا اہتمام ضروری ہے، ورنہ صرف روزے رکھنا بے فائدہ ہے۔ خاص طور پر اللہ تعالیٰ نے اس مہینے میں قرآن کریم کے نازل ہونے کا ذکر فرمایا ہے، اور حضرت صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے تاکید فرمائی ہے۔ ہم خوش قسمت ہیں کہ اللہ تعالیٰ نے ہمیں اس زمانے میں حضرت صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم کے غلام صادق کو ماننے کی توفیق عطا فرمائی، جنہوں نے ہمیں جہاں قرآن کریم کے اسرار و رموز اور تفسیر اور معنی کے نئے نئے زاویے بتائے، وہاں اس پر عمل کرنے اور قرآن کریم کی کو عزت دینے کی اور اسے پڑھنے اور غور کرنے کی طرف بھی خاص توجہ دلائی ہے، اور بتایا کہ تمہیں کس خاص توجہ سے اس کو پڑھ کر اس پر عمل کرنا چاہیے اور اپنی حالتوں میں کیا تبدیلی پیدا کرنی چاہیے۔
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. These are really pearls of wisdom from the Khalifa of the time. We move on to the next question, and that's I would want to ask respected Mavi Umar Sahib, Umar Farooq Sahib. Mavi Sahib, the month of Ramadan, as you've just explained, how does this month come to reform human being?
Jazakumullah. In fact, the month of Ramadan, as we have seen in the whole Quran, its main significance is all spiritual. As I read in the beginning, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes us understand that we fast to achieve nearness of God. That is, I'm trying to explain Tatakun, where God says that we fast to become God-fearing, which is also to protect ourselves from doing evil or sinning. If we fast, and if we should achieve the aim of fasting, then we should feel our approach to God, and we should feel that we are close to God. And if we should achieve the aim of fasting, then within the fasting itself, the feeling should arise in us that we actually are obeying a command from God, that we are taking an undertaking that we are not going to commit any sin that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has prohibited that we should do. This is very apparent from the fact that in Ramadan, we are not allowed to approach some things that are allowed for us. If we are in ordinary days, we are free to approach them. Sure. But during Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stops us from doing such things, like taking food, taking in water. And you see, the most enticing thing for a human being at the point of hunger and thirst is that he should have beautiful food around him, and there is nobody around and he cannot touch it. Yeah. Just because of the feeling that I am trying to become godly. Yeah. I want to feel God around me. I want to feel God in me. And because of that, without the presence of anybody, still he is afraid to touch these things that will nourish his body. Now, if a person is able to do this in Ramadan, what about the things that God has prohibited? Yeah. Do you think that if you feel the presence of God around you as an aura all the time, even after Ramadan, do you think that you can approach those things that Allah has forbidden that we should do? It is very impossible. So that is why Hazrat Masih Maud ﷺ says that we should always make an undertaking every Ramadan. Put some things before you that after Ramadan or during and after Ramadan, I am not going to approach such shortcomings that were in me before. Yeah. We are trying to reform ourselves because we are weak and we know that we are weak. But God has put this blessing for us to be able to transform ourselves from any weak state we will be to become stronger spiritually and morally, even socially. So you can see that we are being advised in Ramadan, I talk of socially, that to be benevolent. Yeah. And we are told in the hadith that the Holy Prophet of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, ordinarily was so benevolent. Yeah. And you could not compare him to anybody to him, his companions. Yeah. And we would say any other person for that matter, in benevolence. Sure. I am not talking of Ramadan, in ordinary days. Yeah. But in Ramadan, he escalated his benevolence. Now, he also advised the companions to be benevolent. In Ramadan, they should do it more and more.
MashaAllah.
Now, if that is, we are able to do all this, it means in the social sense, we are trying to bring our fellow beings close to us by solving problems that would have caused more problems in the society. No, there can be no peace if people feel that we are eating to our full and they are going hungry. They will find ways and means to fill their stomachs.
That's right.
But we are able to take care of these things. And this in Ramadan escalates. It goes higher and higher. And this feeling of benevolence is our trait.
MashaAllah. Jazakumullah. 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 Thank you for that wonderful explanations. Wonderful viewers, we are receiving a lot of messages from you. Thank you for participating in today's program. I'll go on to read a few messages that we've received so far. This message reads as Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I'm Ramadan Kabagambe from Uganda. Thank you so much for a wonderful program. Long live beloved Huzur, long live Jamaat Ahmadiyya. This comes from Ramadan Kabagambe. The next message is Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am really enjoying your program. Very packed and educative. Jazakumullah to the entire MTA team. May Allah accept our humble supplications. Amen. This is from Abdul Qadir bin Ahmed, Ghana. The next message is Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are watching you from Uganda. Ramadan Mubarak. This one is, my name is Bada Akram. The next message is Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ramadan Mubarak to you all, staff of MTA Africa. MashaAllah. Jazakumullah khairan. Ahsan al-jaza. The program is very educative. May Allah bless you people immensely. Hamid Ali Bangura from Sierra Leone. Now we move on to our next question, and that question will go to Movi Ali Mahmoud Saab. Movi Saab, we've talked about how Ramadan can reform us. Can we move on to the benefits of fasting? What are the benefits of fasting?
Fundamentally, as we have already been speaking on this from various angles, and in the light of the Holy Quran and in the light of the Holy Prophet's traditions, that the fundamental purpose of Ramadan is to attain the pleasure of Allah.
That's right.
To attain the pleasure of your Almighty, for whom you are going through a certain exercise.
Yeah.
Now, when you are doing something or you are not doing something, you know, there are do's and don'ts, as you mentioned in the beginning of the program. So there are certainly some do's and don'ts. And you are making a conscious effort in your mind that I am doing it because of the sake of Allah, and I am not doing this and that for the sake of Allah. So it means that the prime reason or the prime purpose for fasting is the attainment of the pleasure of Allah. So allow me to read just something very small from the Prophet Messiah's writings. Even Huzur has just mentioned the one they just played on the TV.
Yeah.
It is taken from the same abstract. The Prophet Messiah, Hazrat Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani says, it is human nature that the less one eats, the more one's spirit is purified. And thus, his capacity for spiritual visions increases. The will of God is to decrease one kind of sustenance and to increase the other. So it's a long, writing of the Prophet Messiah, but the message that he wants to convey in this writing is that you are going through an exercise. You are not eating from morning till evening. It means you are starving yourself.
Sure.
You are reducing something.
Yeah.
Now, it is for your body.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you must compensate yourself with something else.
That is right.
And that's what Prophet Messiah says, that is the spiritual food.
Yeah.
It means that you do something which will please your God
That's right.
and which will not, incur the wrath of Allah.
Yeah.
So he says that you should increase that spiritual food. And Hazur also mentioned in his sermon that that food is what? Tasbih, the remembrance of Allah. You should be committed in your, you should show commitment in your prayers, your 5 daily prayers. You should show commitment in tahajjud prayers. Then you should show commitment to recite the Holy Quran and increase your understanding, because the Holy Quran is the message from Allah the Almighty, and you can never uplift yourself, you can never increase your spiritual being without understanding it. But this is not the only benefit that we can talk about. Even though that is the primary reason, but it has a byproduct. It means it gives you some benefit which you did not even plan. So that are the benefits to the health. Now, you know that when we are constantly eating, we are providing our body with glucose, and glucose is the main item that our body needs to work, especially the brain.
Yes.
Now, when you allow yourself to be hungry for a certain period of time, then it means that you are making your body to work the automatic system, so that your fats will burn and the extra toxins that are in your body, that will also reduce.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
So,
Jazakumullah. For that, actually, mentioning the health side, we have a doctor on the line who would want to join the program, who has joined us online, actually. He is in the person of Dr. Saifur Rahman Saab from Norway. Dr. Saab, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Dr. Saab, Ramadan Mubarak.
Ramadan Mubarak to you and to your all team.
Jazakumullah for making time with us. Dr. Saab, we want you to walk us through, how we can keep our health, we can maintain our health whilst in the month of Ramadan.
Jazakallah. Your question, how to remain healthy in Ramadan, is very relevant, of course, and I'll try my best to be very precise. First of all, I would like to give some hints, then explain the importance, which will be followed by concrete advices, what we should do. So first of all is stay hydrated. The importance, why it is so important. The human body is about 60 to 70% water, and it is vital for body functions, including metabolism and transporting nutrients throughout the body and removing waste. The amount of water in the body fluctuates, and it is lost through urine and sweat and regained from food and drinks. It is not unusual to become periodically dehydrated while fasting. Dehydration can result in weight loss that is quickly regained when normal eating and drinking habits resume. So the advice, an adult on average needs 2 to 3 liters of water each day. So make sure to drink plenty of fluids before the start of fasting hours. Unsweetened juices or milk like that. The caffeine in coffee, tea, and soda causes increased urination. So it is best to limit these drinks during the non-fasting hours. The other advice, fruits and vegetables such as watermelon, squash, or spinach are mostly water and can also help to replace fluids. The other hint, choose healthy options. Why it's important. The body's ability to process carbohydrates and fats peaks at certain times of the day. Food eaten outside of this window isn't broken down as efficiently, which can lead to weight gain. So if you aren't eating at the usual times, it is important to choose wisely. So how to do this? Choose whole grains instead of white bread, enriched pasta, and sugar cereals. The energy of these simple carbohydrates is broken down and used too quickly. Other advice: if you can't get fresh or frozen vegetables, find cans with low sodium labels. Choose foods that have been grilled, baked, or steamed instead of fried. Enjoy traditional iftar desserts in small portions. And fruit is very healthy alternative. And the other hint: eat, rest, and exercise strategically. Why it is important? Weight loss occurs when a person uses more energy than they consume.
MashaAllah.
Some studies on weight loss or gain during Ramadan have shown that energy intake remains the same or increases despite a decrease in meal frequency.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah.
So what should we do?
Jazakumullah, Dr. Saib, Jazakumullah for joining us. Thank you very much. We are very grateful, and it was very, very educative. We move on to the next on the list, that is a food segment, that is, sorry, diet segments. Please join us as we go for that section.
ملتی نہیں طاقت کے کرے شکریہ انسان بندوں پہ خدا رہتا ہے ہر دم ہی مہربان ملتی نہیں طاقت کے کرے شکریہ انسان بندوں پہ خدا رہتا ہے ہر دم ہی مہربان آیا مہینہ وہ کہ جس کا نام ہے رمضان آیا مہینہ وہ کہ جس کا نام ہے رمضان قرآن بھی شاہد بنا بر عظمت رمضان قرآن بھی شاہد بنا بر عظمت رمضان ملتی نہیں طاقت کے کرے شکریہ انسان بندوں پہ خدا رہتا ہے ہر دم ہی مہربان بندوں پہ خدا رہتا ہے ہر دم ہی مہربان اللہ نے بتلائے جو اسلام کے ارکان ان 5 میں سے ایک ہے یہ روزہ رمضان اللہ نے بتلائے جو اسلام کے ارکان ان 5 میں سے ایک ہے یہ روزہ رمضان اللہ کا تقویٰ ہے اللہ کا تقویٰ ہے سنو حاصل رمضان انسان پہ اس راز کو ہے کھولتا قرآن اللہ کا تقویٰ ہے سنو حاصل رمضان انسان پہ اس راز کو ہے کھولتا قرآن رمضان کی آمد ہوئی زندان میں شیطان کھل جاتا ہے انسان پہ نیکی کا ہر میدان رمضان کی آمد ہوئی زندان میں شیطان کھل جاتا ہے انسان پہ نیکی کا ہر میدان اللہ کی رحمت رہے نصرت رہے ہر آن है एक दुआए खास पेश खिदमत रहमा हर दिन रहे हर माह रहे हालत रमज़ान हर दिन रहे हर माह रहे हालत रमज़ान हर दिन रहे हर माह रहे हालत रमज़ान
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. That was a beautiful segment. We move on back to the studios, and then we go into the next question, and then I would want to go to Movi Umar Farouk Saab. Movi Saab, the month of Ramadan is linked with the sighting of the moon. So we want to know how the Ramadan actually starts.
Thank you very much. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the whole Quran that فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْهُ. Whosoever is present in this month, let him fast it.
Okay.
So the rule has been laid. But the Holy Prophet of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam makes us understand that we must fast when we see the new moon of Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, which is the 9th month of the Hijri calendar. That's the lunar months that the Muslims use in Islam. And in one hadith, we are told that he says, we are a people who are not lettered as such. So we do not know how to read and write, and we do not do computation and things like that. So as far as the month is concerned, it is either 29 or 30 days.
That's right.
So, and then in another hadith, we have been told that Sumu liru'yatihi waftiru liru'yatihi. You should fast when you see its moon, when you see it, and then you should break the fast when you see it. This tells us that when you see the new moon of Ramadan, you should start fasting. And when you see the new moon of Shawwal, you should break the fast.
Right.
So it is either by physically seeing the moon or by computing.
Okay.
As the Holy Prophet ﷺ tells us that we are people who neither read nor write. It means they were sort of illiterate.
Sure.
And it was very simple for them to only see the moon and knew that this was the new moon that has come out, and therefore whatever they had to do with regards to the crescent, they will start to do it.
That's right.
And when it was not 29 days, or at the 29th day, if you did not see the moon, you only computed. You counted 30 days. And in another hadith, he says, complete 30 days.
Okay.
So you calculated 30 days and you stopped fasting.
Sure.
So even today, we still have so many places where we have unlettered people. They do not know reading and writing, and they do not know how to compute, and they still want to see the moon.
Yeah.
This has even brought a lot of arguments within the system now. People who see this hadith that tells us, these are hadiths that tell us that we can compute. They still say that until you physically view the moon, there's no way any scientific calculation can help you to know the time of fasting. But in fact, as the hadith has made this easier for us, computation is part of the system. But what is forbidden is that in gumma alaykum, that if it is cloudy and you cannot see it, you compute. But when it is doubtful day for you, then don't fast and don't break fast.
That's right, mashallah.
Doubtful days are totally prohibited. Otherwise, sometimes computation is also allowed.
Mashallah, mashallah. Jazakumullah, Mawvi Umar Farouk Sahab. Mawvi Alim Sahab, on the same discussion, we will want to know when the crescent is sighted at a place, what is the range of validity of that crescent?
You know, the crescent, seeing the moon, sighting the moon, as Maulvi has mentioned in the hadith, it has its own importance.
Okay.
But sighting the moon is also a very delicate, matter. And it depends, it varies from place to place.
Okay.
So it is not possible that if at one place they have sighted the moon, it is also possible that it can be sighted the other place also. As we know, we are, the earth is a globe. So if a moon is sighted at in the half hemisphere, where we are in the day or in the evening, you can say sun has set, the other part of the world is still in day.
Sure.
So it is not possible that to see the moon at the same time.
Okay.
Now what happens is that the age of the moon, we should know that from where does it start.
Okay.
When there is conjuncture, and that is when the moon is in between the earth and the sun. They are in line. So when you can say that when the 29 and a half and 29.5 days have completed, now the moon is completely dark.
Okay.
It is after that, any time calculated is the age of the moon.
Okay.
So now, the age of the moon starts from that time, and then you start calculating, and then you will be able to see it, or you will not be able to see it, because that also depends on various, things. Because moon goes round the earth. It is not in a round shape. It is elliptical.
Okay.
It means that it is kind of oval. So it means when moon is going round the earth, at some point it will come closer to earth, and at some point it will be farther from earth. It will be far from earth.
Okay.
And according to the science that we have, come to realize or understood, that when it is closer, it is faster.
Sure.
When it is farther, it is slower. So when it is closer and it is faster, the visibility of the moon is higher.
Okay.
The possibility to see the moon with your eye is higher.
Okay.
Provided it has the 17 hours have elapsed.
Okay.
So in this scenario, we should remember that the age is not a very critical thing. The critical thing is the place where exactly moon is passing, and the speed of the moon, and the degree at which the moon is at now from the sun and the earth.
Okay.
So they say that, okay, if it is faster, then there is a possibility to see the moon when it is 17 hours, but the moon should also be at 9 degrees.
Okay.
9 degrees from earth and the sun.
That's right.
So you'll be able to see.
That's right.
And if it is far from earth and it is slower, then 23 years of age, after that you'll be able to see the moon, but it still varies from month to month. You cannot say that this month you saw the moon in 17 hours, you must be able to see the moon the same way.
Sure.
You saw the moon in this hemisphere at this point of time, you should be able to see the moon in the other hemisphere in the same time. It is not the same.
Okay.
Northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere, they are totally, different spheres.
Sure.
So seeing the moon is a blessed thing, because the Prophet ﷺ with his companions always wanted to see the moon and offer special prayers for it. But the science in this age is only helping us to see, because sometimes it is totally cloudy. You may not be able to see it. But you should know that what day of the preceding month you are in. If it is 29th day, you still have a day to complete.
That's right.
And the science will also tell you that whether or not it will be possible this evening to see the moon, what will be the angle, and
Yeah.
what will be the age, and what will be the distance of the moon. Will it be
Mashallah.
slow or will it be faster?
MashaAllah. Jazakumullah. Hassan Jaza, Mawvi Sahab. Jazakumullah. Dear viewers, we move on to the next segment. That is a fitness segment. Please join us for that.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. This is Coach Hamza. I'll be the moderator for the Ramadan Sports and Fitness series. And just to introduce a little bit of sports to you guys in terms of Ramadan, it is important to exercise alongside with Ramadan just to optimize your health. And there are some few exercises that will be taking you through. But then because we are in the fasting mood, you don't need to do it as so much. I mean, 15, 20 minutes is enough. So we take you through the episodes as I'll demonstrate them to you very, very soon. Yes, as you can see, this is press up. This helps to build the upper body. This is muscle intensive. And so you can do this. It should not be intense when it is Ramadan. All right, so we're moving on. This is core exercise. This is targeted at the stomach. If you want to lose some fat around the belly, especially with those who are obese, this is best for you. So we're going on to do some squats and to put some strength onto the legs. We are training the legs now. This is squatting. Whilst we are doing this, make sure your spine is straight. Keep it simple and enjoy the training. Psych your mind as you do this and picture the figure you want to have in your mind, and that should be your motivation. That's interesting, yeah? Okay. Yes, hope you've gotten all the details, and you can practice this 2 to 3 times in a week. And consistency, as it is said, it is very important in exercise. If you're able to continue and repeat this over time, believe me, you will have optimal health and you will be very, very healthy and fit during the Ramadan period. And thank you so much. Jazakallah khair.
MashaAllah. So that was the fitness segment. That was really nice. We come back to the studio here. I'll move straight to our panelists here today. Movima Farouk Saab, there is something that we know that in this blessed month that we do, it will make our month of Ramadan or our fasting more blessed for us. Can you just take us through a few things that can make this month a blessed month for all of us?
Thank you very much. The month is already a blessed month.
Sure.
And it is aimed at achieving the pleasure of God. And in this month, you see a whole community, the whole of the Muslim community, coming together in a changed form, so that it is unheard of in the rest of the world. You cannot see any total change towards one direction, spiritually, mentally, and morally, and even physically in any community, apart from in Islam. That in 1 month, whatever a person was doing, he stops all that and gears himself towards one direction. And the direction is to achieve the pleasure of God and becoming righteous, becoming spiritual, becoming morally upright, and becoming physically fit. This is what you see in the Muslim community. This in itself is enticing enough for any other person who is religious.
Yeah.
And we stay in religious community.
Yeah.
We have Christians, we have Buddhists, we have Hindus, we have whatever, name them. Now, because the world is a global village, all these religions that I'm calling, you can find them everywhere.
Yes, yeah.
So we are a religious community. There are very few people who are not that sort of religion that we are professing, turning towards that. But whatever their concept is also their religion.
Yeah, that's right.
They are also aiming towards one particular thing. And if Ramadan's purpose is to make us spiritual, and in a spiritual community, this in itself should turn the other people's attention to what the Muslims are doing. And believe me or not, the people who are not Muslims, a lot of them tend to even fast during Ramadan.
That's right. Yeah.
We have got friends who fast in Ramadan.
Sure.
Allah knows how He will reward them. We do not know.
Right.
They are not Muslims, but they are adhering to what the Muslims are doing because they see the beauty in it.
Yes, that's right.
And you see, taking the breaking the fast in the evenings, that is iftar time. It's another beautiful period. You see, it is not just that a person is going to fill the stomach, because the Holy Prophet of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us how to break fast.
Yeah.
And it is so simple. In Mecca, they would take dates, fresh dates. He took 3 of them.
Yeah.
That is how he broke his fast and went to say his prayers. And he said, if you did not have a fresh date, you take the dry one. If you did not even have that one, you should take a sip of water. And that was good. But these days, we want to socialize. We want to bring more people into the system. So we have places where we invite friends. They may be Muslims. It may be targeted at poor people.
That's right.
It may be targeted at friends, Muslims and non-Muslims together. They come together and they enjoy that specific occasion of Ramadan.
MashaAllah.
And it is beautiful.
What a spectacle.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Jazakumullah. Mawvi Alim Saab, your final words on the same question, please.
Okay, there is nothing final anyway. there is always room for improvement.
Sure.
Anyway, my humble contribution is this, that this is a blessed month of Ramadan, and we should remember in our prayers, we should pay particular attention towards prayers, and we should also remember our Imam Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Al-Khamis Ayyadullah Ta'ala bin Nasir Aziz, who is the Khalifa of the time and the spiritual head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in our prayers.
Yeah.
And secondly, whatever prayers Hazur has been making mention in his Friday sermons, Hazur has mentioned them, and I have seen that on social media they are circulating.
MashaAllah.
We should remember those prayers, and we
That's
should
right.
always try to, listen to Khalifatul Masih,
Yes, that's right.
and try as much as possible
Yeah.
to follow his guidance.
That's right. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Jazakumullah to our respected guest here in the studio. Jazakumullah to Dr. Saifur Rahman Sabu, also joined us on the line. Viewers, we've been receiving your messages, and then due to time, we can only read one to you. And it is wonderful that not only Africans are watching this program. We have people all over the world watching. We have a message here from Germany. It says that Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My comment to all the viewers: I wish all my sisters and brothers a blessed Ramadan. May this be a source of blessings to all. Ameen. So this is from Tahsina Nasser Sahiba from Germany. Jazakumullah for your message. Jazakumullah viewers for making time with us. Inshallah, we'll meet again next week to continue with our discussion. Till then, we leave you with the peace and blessings of Allah the Almighty. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.